but we do have the actual astronauts that were on this spacecraft traveling to the moon and back. And so there's probably no better source than these actual astronauts of in-depth information of how they made it through the belts and what it was like to even just experience going through that radiation. Because you got to think they're going through that intense radiation once on the way to the moon and again on the way back. So, outside of landing on the moon, making it through that radiation would be like one of the most pivotal experiences for any astronaut. And both Alan Bean and Eugene Cernan were interviewed about their experiences during the Apollo flights. And when they got to the question of the Van Allen radiation belts, this is when things got interesting.
The lunar module that was the vehicle that we landed on the moon, it was just like this room we're sitting in here right now. We had a thermostat, and it worked a little different than the air conditioning in a house or a building. However, it had the same effect.
Any ill effects from the Van Allen radiation belts?
No. Now, I'm not sure we went far enough out to encounter the Van Allen radiation belt. Maybe we did. I don't know the distance to the Van Allen radiation belt, and if we did, it wasn't a problem. If we were going to encounter it, then we would have had to build the spacecraft and the spacesuit to not give humans a problem. You don't just build something and hope it works. You study to see what the threats are, the environment is, and then you say, how thick do I have to make the metal on the spacecraft so that going through this kind of radiation or these kind of meteoroids, it won't get hurt. And so then we build it that way.
The belts are 1,000 miles to 25,000 miles above the Earth.
Then we went right out through them.
No effects on your cells?
We didn't even know it. I don't think anybody, well, maybe somebody said you went through the radiation belt, but we didn't feel it inside, and we didn't get any, added radiation.
I got to a point on my 2 flights to the moon, particularly my last flight when I actually made the moon my home for over 3 days. You become detached from one planet. You become detached from Earth, which is your identity with reality.
So there was no strange phenomenon going through the belts of any kind? Nothing happened?
No, there was no great unknowns, no science fiction going to the moon. It was all science fact, although sometimes it seemed like it was science fiction.
I saw a CNN report about 3 years ago. The space shuttle went to about 365 miles, and that was the closest they got to the belts since the moon missions went through them. And they were about, 650 miles away from the belts. And they reported that it was more dangerous than previously believed, and that when they were 650 miles away, they could see the radiation with their eyes closed going through their skulls and the retinas of their closed eyes.
Well, I don't know about the shuttle. The shuttle doesn't have the capability to go very far, 400 miles. I don't know exactly where the Van Allen. Quiet. The shuttle doesn't have the capability to fly very far away from Earth, maybe 300-400 miles. I don't know exactly how far out the radiation Van Allen belt is. It didn't seem to bother us very much.
Did you see shooting stars?
Did
you see the shooting stars?
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of noise going on. So I don't know the results of some of the experiments they've conducted. The point is they can't get that far from here, and they're really in the protective confines of the Earth, outside the atmosphere certainly. We conducted all kinds of experiments, and one of them was an experiment where we closed our eyes and then we put some light-sensitive pads on our eyes, and we could literally, yes, we could see traces of radiation or traces of something going through our eyes. We conducted this experiment both going to the moon and coming back from the moon several times. Now, what that all meant, I don't know, but it wasn't the kind of radiation that gave us a problem of any kind.
So first off, you got Alan Bean saying that he didn't even know if they went through the belts, which is crazy because we know Apollo 12 happened in 1969, and the Van Allen radiation belts were first discovered in 1958. So that's 11 years of scientists, astrophysicists, engineers, astronomers, any and everybody working in aerospace being aware of the existence of these belts and knowing that in order to go anywhere beyond low Earth orbit, that you would have to go through these belts. And of course, the moon is well beyond low Earth orbit. But an actual astronaut, and one of the only actual astronauts to make it beyond low Earth orbit, doesn't know if they went through the belts or even know where the belts are. I mean, this astronaut that traveled to the moon and back on the Apollo 12 mission didn't even realize that you have to go through the belts to even get to the moon. So you got a question, how is this possible?